Hello, hello, everybody. It's Felicia Yvette here, and it is my fourth LimeLife anniversary. So I figured I would come here to talk about my 4 years in the game with you guys while I throw on a little bit of makeup. How about that? Hey, cousin. Hello. When you pop on, say hello. Hi. Say hello. So I wanted to I'm doing my makeup and I'm just going to talk to you guys. Hi, Sarah. About my LimeLife journey so far and kind of how I started and maybe even what I love, maybe even what I don't love. You guys know me. Thank you. I am not the type to sugarcoat anything. That's just not how I roll. I am very much the give you the full picture from my perspective type of girl. So that is what I intend to do today. Yeah, I'm gonna do that today. Thank you so much. Hey, Takisa. So I joined this company 4 years ago today, and quite honestly did not know that it was a network marketing company. I thought that as a professional makeup artist, I would just sell foundation and lip colors to clients, right? And so then I found out that there was this whole team aspect, and it totally rocked my world. And I was like, oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, I will not be building any teams. And what I did instead was just authentically share it with people that I thought it would benefit. So I ended up recruiting somebody my very first month. Hey. I think I recruited one or two people my very first month. One was an esthetician. And then I just kind of kept recruiting people here and there. And it was honestly never like a gross thing to me. Like I had seen it be really gross when other people did it because it was like a copy and paste message, and I don't roll like that. So this would be me sending emails or, voice messages or whatever the case may be. And that would just look like me saying, hey, I found this company. I've tried the products. I think you would like them, and here's a way for you to make some extra money. Like that was kind of how I approached it back in 2016. And I still have a similar approach today, because ultimately, this isn't about me. This is about how many people I can help. And I know, especially, right now, I'm just like, I want to be able to help as many people as I can. That's my goal. So anyway, I joined May 5th, 2016, and I kind of wrote off what I thought this would be for me. I was like, it'll be fine. Not worried about a team, not worried about structure, not worried about any of that stuff that gets people to the top of the company. Totally was not my goal. So then I went to the company's conference and I had an attitude, you guys. Like I had a huge attitude. I was on the plane. The plane was dripping water on me. I was angry. I was like, this wasn't meant to be. This just wasn't meant to be. And so I got to the conference. I had to take a break for a second before everything started. I went up to my room. I gathered myself, and then I was ready to go. So now it's time for the conference. I'm in there. They bring up the three people, you guys. At the time, I joined when there were about 2,500 people in the entire company, and we were only in the U.S. So I'm in the audience, right? And I am just kind of looking at the stage, right? And I'm like, oh, these are the people at the top of the company, And then I was like, but none of them look like me. They don't look anything like me. They look like white women, And so kudos, good for them. Woo woo. They announced the Brighter Together Foundation at that conference. I was like, but this is not okay. That there's I didn't see any black women on the stage the whole conference. And I kind of had a problem with that, you guys. I honestly had a huge problem with there not being any representation at that conference 4 years ago. So when I got home, I said, you know what? I'm going to be on that stage next year, because we can't just have no color up on that stage. That's not okay. Especially, I'm a woman of color. I want to see myself represented, right? I'm all about representation. So what do you know? The next year, I made my way up onto the stage. Basically, we had this thing called the Energizer, where if you're like a good leader and you're showing up for the team and you're blah, 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 like I got that award. So I got to go up on stage, and that was cool. But that wasn't enough for me. So then, I just kind of kept going. And then now we're in 2017, right? So 2017, that's when I really started to kind of get a feel for what this was and what it could do for me. So I started making these declarations about what I wanted and why I wanted it, and I wanted to be able to pay a car note, which I had accomplished. I wanted to be able to like do whatever I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to like pay off stuff and blah, blah, blah. And so it was doing that for a little while. But then in 2017, I got diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, right? And so my whole world flipped upside down, because here I was now having to deal with this chronic condition that I don't know, it just kind of broke my heart, and it did a whole lot of stuff for me. So much that I just stuttered. So then in 2017, I also sent an email to the CEO. And I felt the need to express myself really late at night. It was easily 11 something p.m. And I said, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that everybody, I didn't say these words. I said it much nicer than this. But in a nutshell, I said that I was annoyed that, it was easier for people who did not look like me to excel. It was easier because they had shades that worked. It was easier because they could form an eyeshadow palette, and it was stuff that they would feel comfortable telling their clients that it would work. Me, not so much. We didn't even have a bronzer back then that I could wear. We didn't. We had one bronzer, and I don't use it at all on myself, right? So, oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. So at that time, we literally had just these really ashy, generally not brown girl friendly eyeshadows, and that one like really light bronzer. And in this company, there are certain things that like really kind of help you with your sales and, that kind of stuff. And one of those things is a 3-well palette, like a 3-well powder bronzer blush palette. And at the time, we only had 7 blushes, and I only liked like two and a half, 2.5 of them, maybe 3.5 on a good day. And so I felt the need to go to Michelle, and I said to her, we need to level the playing field. We got to figure this out. Like, I can't wear these, this bronzer, these eyeshadows. I would not recommend an eyeshadow palette to a Black woman with like a deeper skin tone. I wouldn't do it. And so I'm at a disadvantage here because I'm selling skincare and only skincare, but people know me as a makeup artist. So this isn't a well-rounded situation we have going on here. And again, the playing field is not level. And so Michelle wrote me back the very next day. And she was kind. Like, she was really kind about it. And she thanked me, for bringing it to her attention. And we kind of went back and forth. And she asked me what I would like to see in the line. My cousin's trying to FaceTime me, but I'm on live. Hopefully she doesn't. But yeah, so she asked me those questions, and what I ended up doing was I formed a focus group. And in that focus group, I was just like, listen, the CEO is listening to us at this point. What do you guys want to see, right? So then we just kind of started throwing out some stuff. And what I will say, you guys, is that we have a long way to go. We are not there. And this is even something that Michelle will say. She says this all the time. She says, we have never arrived. Like, we've never arrived. Like, we're always becoming. And I think that is something that is really, really cool, that she knows that even for women of color, we still have a really long way to go. And, it's still hard sometimes because there are things that we lack. There are things that are popular for, thank you, Liz. There are things that are popular for white women in our line that I just look at and I'm like, probably not gonna push that hard, because my audience looks like me, right? Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you, Nydia. My audience looks like me, right? So let me give you guys some examples. And this is just me being totally real because it's my anniversary and I could talk about whatever I want. How about that? So let's talk about Ruby Chocolate. When Ruby Chocolate launched and it sold out, right? Ruby Chocolate was a part of our Danessa collection. And, and I was just like, I can't do anything with Ruby Chocolate. It makes me look like a $2 hooker. I'm good. Unless I pair that thing with a deep, rich, grape liner or a berry, something, a brown, then I don't want Ruby Chocolate. I don't touch Ruby Chocolate. The same thing with birthday cake, which just launched last year, whenever it launched this year. And I was like, I can't do anything with that. I'm good. So that's one of the things that I don't like. I don't like that, oftentimes stuff will launch that I'm not excited about, or stuff will launch that I know that the people who are not Black, will be able to sell a crap ton of. I'm not excited about it because I can't use it. And we tend to really like to talk about the things that we like. So things like Ruby Chocolate, things like Cupcake also makes me look like a $2 hooker, but it's really cute on some people. It's not cute on me. It's not, y'all. Creme Brulee is a really popular lip color. I can't wear it. And if I'm just being real, I'm just being 100% real. I love that I'm growing here. I love that I can grow here. I don't love that there are still so many holes, right? However, I've obviously done pretty well for there to still be so many holes, right? Other things that I don't like, while I have you guys here, for the most part, that's it. I don't have a whole lot of complaints. My stuff is, anything else would be really personal. It doesn't really apply to anybody else. The products are incredible. I love how thoughtful they are. I love how they really take their time. I love how they're not like most companies who release stuff all the time. They'd rather kind of wait it out, and make sure that it's perfect, quote unquote, before they release anything. So I really respect that. Especially being somebody who's been in the beauty industry for a really long time. Some of you may not know this, but I used to be a model many, many years ago, you guys. I started out as a model when I was a teenager. And my background story is basically that I got annoyed. I got annoyed with being the darkest girl in the fashion show and showing up for these white makeup artists to do my makeup. And they always made me look horrible. My foundation would go gray. I would be pissed off. I would have a lack of confidence. And we all know I was a runway model, you guys. So you're walking down a runway, not looking your best, and I would have an attitude. So I said, you know what? I'm going to change the game. I'm going to learn how to do makeup, and I'm going to show other makeup artists how to cater to Black women, because this is not okay. And it is not okay for somebody who is your job as a model is to go out there and show off the clothes, and you have to walk confidently, right? You're like a walking clothes hanger. But when you go out there and you don't feel sure, so that's the whole reason why I became a makeup artist. I'm kind of going bouncing all over the place right now, but I'm trying to give you guys the full story of kind of how I've arrived at 4 years. So anyway, Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of other stuff that I just really do not love about the company. Promoting is hard. Okay, let's talk about, if we go on there, let's just go there. Um, one of the things that's the most challenging, and some of you on here are beauty guides and you probably will be able to relate in some ways. One of the things that I kind of love the most is leadership. I love leading people. I love helping people realize their potential. As you guys know, like, my team is called The Keys. Our tagline is unlocking potential worldwide. You know, like, that's cute, right? That's real cute. However, it's hard. Like, I'll never sell this to anybody as like this easy, this is not the brush I want, as this really easy thing, because it's not. It's not easy to promote. It's not easy to rank up. One of the things that I find is the hardest to do in this type of business. Well, in this company, I don't know how it works in other companies, but ranking up is hard. Like, it's really, really hard once you start to like get up there. I am a lead director. And we'll kind of get back into that story in a second, but I'm a lead director. I hit lead director 2 years ago. So I've been a lead director and executive in the company for 2 years, now. And that's what's up. I was actually the very first Black executive in the entire company 2 years ago. And we just got our second one in April. Like, it just happened. So it's a very slow moving thing to promote. And the thing that is really interesting, not really interesting, but it's just hard. It's hard to get people kind of on the same page. It's kind of hard to get people who are committed to like running. That's like, that to me, that stuff is hard. Because, you know, sometimes people just want to be here for a community. Sometimes people just want to be here for a discount. Like, but finding those people who are like committed to like doing the damn thing with you, like, those are hard to find. But I am committed to kind of making that happen for myself. I'm using a fan brush, you guys. This is like my favorite brush in life. But anyway, that stuff is really hard. So let's get back to the story. So 2017, I sent that email to Michelle talking about needing to be more inclusive. Because again, we didn't have bronzers. So we didn't have these either. So hold on, let me show you my bronzer. This is my bronzer here. And we didn't have anything like this. Like, we just had this really light, and I wish I had it up here, but it's in my kit because I don't use it. We had this really, really light. I probably have an eyeshadow that is similar to, it doesn't look like this, but no lie, you guys, lighter than this. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna be able to do nothing with that. So that email was sent. We had a conversation, and so from there, Palooza rolls around. Palooza is our annual conference. I love Palooza. Palooza is kind of where you go to, I'm going to use this. Palooza is where you go to learn all the things, and you like get to hug on people, love on your team, and, you know, learn the things and blah, blah, blah. It's cool. So Palooza comes around, and this is announced. It was announced that we would be partnering with Danessa Myricks at that Palooza. And so we were just kind of sitting there. I'm freaking out, you guys, at Palooza. When that announcement was made, I was freaking out. I'm telling you. So then there comes time for a break, right? So we're on break, and I walk out into the lobby, and Michelle is standing there. Michelle's one of the CEOs. And I walked up to her. Mind you, at this point, I had not met Michelle in person. Like, I had gone to the previous Palooza, but I told you guys I wasn't really there for it. I don't think I met Michelle at that Palooza. I think I was just kind of hanging out, seeing what it was like. So I walk out there, I see Michelle, I go to speak to her, and she puts her hands on my shoulders. And she said, "How excited are you right now?" And I'm just thinking, does this woman know who I am? Like, yeah, we've had conversations via email, but I don't think she knows who I am. And I'm like the troublemaker who started this thing via email, you know? And so, I just said, yeah, I'm excited. You know, I didn't know if she was talking about Palooza. I didn't know if she was talking about, I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm going to just keep it real with y'all. I didn't know what she was talking about. I was just like, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. And then she said, you did this. And that's when I was like, oh, she knows who I am. I don't want this brush. She said, you did this. You did this. And that's when I just kind of had a moment. And she said the same day, I'm using my bronzer, you guys. The same day that, let me see, hold on. I gotta catch up. Yes, you are so right, Nydia. Palooza is how I got to meet you in person. I know. Yes. So then she said, you did this. And I was like, what is she talking about? You know, and then she said, the same day that you sent the email to me about inclusion is the same day that Madison got stuck at the airport with Danessa. And I was like, you have got to be freaking kidding me. So that's a story that will live with me forever. That like kind of goes down in LimeLife history. So I'm super proud of that story. I don't know how many of you guys knew that, but I think it's really cool. A really cool story that I can tell. Even if I were to leave LimeLife tomorrow, I think that would be a really cool story that I could tell. Like that I completely kind of like impacted a whole like global company, right? Just by opening my damn mouth. So when she said that, my freaking mind was blown that number one, she listened to me, and that number two, here she was actually about to implement change because I sent an email saying, listen, we need this line to be more inclusive. What can we do? How can I help? Right? Yes, Sarah, that actually happened. And that's a really, really cool story. So fast forward, that was in July 2017. At this point, I'm a director in the company. There were several Black directors at that point. Not a lot, probably like five to seven Black directors at that point. But I was like a fast moving director. Like I was on it, right? And so April 2018 rolls around, and your girl becomes the first Black executive in the whole damn company. And I was a hot ass mess, you guys. I was a mess. I'm using this NARS duo. Yeah, so I gotta check the time because I gotta Zoom with my team. At 8:30. So I became the first Black executive of the entire company, April 2018. And that was really, really, really cool. What I'm most thankful for about that is that it kind of inspired more women of color to really go for it. And it kind of showed them that there's a place for them here. And it's something that I wish I had, you know, like I wish there was a Black woman who was already a senior director so that I could go to her and I could be like, listen, what did you do? Teach me your ways, you know, because we do have different challenges as Black women. All of my uplines are white women. So me going to them, yes, they can offer me things, but we don't have the same challenges. You know, they didn't grow up in the hood where people were getting shot across the street. Like that's my story. That's where I grew up. These are like suburban white women, like love them. However, we're not the same, right? And plus we got this to worry about. So we just kind of have our own little like set of challenges and things that we're trying to figure out, and how does this fit and how does this work, and how do we grow this thing, you know? And especially like coming from the hood, you know, like from the hood, a lot of the people that I know, a lot of the people that I associated with, especially when I first started in the company, like these are people who are just like me, like they grew up in the hood, you know, or they don't have that much money, or, you know, they can't afford a $169 kit. Thankfully now we have a $99 kit. Yes, Nydia. Thanks, Khadijah. I'm still waiting on you when you're ready. But yeah, we have a whole different set of challenges. And so that is, a more difficult part. And I know that obviously has something to do with why there are no Black women at the top of the company yet. It takes a tremendous amount of not only like resilience, but consistency. I could sit here and talk to you guys about like the challenges that I've had, but I feel like I've done that in a lot of other live videos before, so you guys can go and watch those. But I did want to just kind of catch you up if you're new to my page or you just started following me. I wanted you to kind of know my background and where I came from and how I got here. Why do I have 2 tubes of open sunscreen? I do not know. However, yeah, so then I became the first Black executive April 2018. Since then, I have been to Bora Bora. Like, I treated myself to Bora Bora because I work hard, y'all. I have a full-time career as a process expert. I work a lot of hours, sometimes upwards of 13 to 14 hours a day, and I still manage to do this. So when I have teammates who say to me they don't have time, I call BS. Because I call BS on the I don't have time excuse on even people who are considering joining, because if I have time, they have time, or they can create time. So what I like to do is kind of show people how to fit LimeLife into those like pockets of the day. Like, that's my specialty because that's kind of what I have to do. I don't believe in time management. I believe in prioritizing, and I believe in commitment. Time management is a lie. Like, that's something that we tell ourselves just to kind of give ourselves an excuse. And I'm sorry, but humans are generally lazy as hell. Yeah, I'm that leader, you guys. Like, I just, laziness is a no. Like, especially when you say you want something, right? Like, let's just have that conversation. When somebody comes to me and they're like, yeah, I want to be able to do this and I want to be able to do that. And I'm like, well, but you're not showing up in a big way. So let's talk about it. Do you really want that thing? Because I don't think you do. You know, like, that's me. Let me close these curtains. I don't really think that people want the things they say they want bad enough, because they don't show up in a big way for them. And that's the kind of tough love that I like to give my team. Yeah, I want to have this. I want a house. I want this. No, you don't. No, you don't. You didn't show up to the power hour. You didn't do any work. You didn't check off anything off that list that we talked about. You don't want that. You don't want that house. You know, like, that's the kind of love that you kind of have to give people in this business, in my opinion. Will everybody like it? No. I have a lot of teammates who don't like me. Do I care? No, I don't, because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm trying to elevate them. I don't care. I love them. I love them enough to want them to win, right? Like, I don't want a team full of babies. I want a team full of people who are winning. And winners don't freaking make excuses for not winning. Not sorry about that. I like how you guys are giving me hearts on that. I wish my team gave me hearts on that all the time. I do have some who give me hearts. That's cute. So anyway, what else have I done since I've been here at LimeLife? Since I've been here, I said I've been to Bora Bora. I've been to Guatemala. I've been to a lot of cities kind of around the country to go to different events just so that there would be representation. I found myself at one point kind of being the martyr, you know, like feeling like I had to be the one who showed up because I knew that I was like the Black woman who's likely making the most money as an executive. Like, I felt like I had to be the one who showed up. I stopped that this year. And it's kind of funny that I stopped that this year because now we can't go anywhere. So kind of worked out in my favor. Can you just be in my corner yelling at me to be better? Yeah, Khadijah, that's what I do with my team. And I actually just went in there just before I came live here to talk to them about this very thing. I'm looking for a sharpener, so I'm poke my eye out, but I can't find one. So I'm just gonna pray. Thanks, Nydia. Yeah, here's the thing about leadership. it sucks. Like, leadership, especially in this kind of business, is one of the hardest things that I've ever done. I've worked in management in the corporate world, but this is something that's optional. You know, when something is optional and people don't have to show up for it, a lot of times they're going to opt not to show up for it, or they're going to show up small. But then they see these top leaders and they're buying Benz trucks and they're buying, building new houses and they're doing this and that. And then they say, oh yeah, I want to do that. And then they show up small and they show up scared. They don't really want that. There's no way. But when you say that out loud, when you say that out loud to them, they may or may not like that. So, I don't care. Like, I think my team knows. Like, I don't care. And honestly, yeah, I just don't care. Excuses do not lead to actions that get your bills paid. Thank you. Just doesn't. I have a lot of go-getters on my team, which I'm super grateful for. But, it takes reminders. It just takes reminders that, humble's my favorite. That's not what creates winners. Excuses do not create winners. They don't. They're for the lazy people. And laziness, honestly, doesn't get you anywhere. It just doesn't. So as somebody who some days can only work her business for a half hour before she is ready to crawl into bed, I'm making a declaration right here in this moment. Anybody who can make 30 minutes in a day to work this business can see some results. I have systems in place for my team. We have power hours all the time. We have team meetings all the time. I'm sure they do that on other teams as well. Like, there are some really bomb leaders in this company. You don't have to join me if you don't want to. Go find one. Go find somebody and get in here and make this money. We have check the time. We have incredible products that people love. Professional makeup artists love them. Let me talk about what my goals are, and you guys can hold me accountable. How about that? So 4 years in, I said I was giving this 5 years, and if something didn't shake by year 5, that I was going to quit. I still don't know how I feel about that, but that's what I told myself. So we'll see what happens at 5 years. I would like to, and I said this earlier in my post, I would like to get rid of all of my debt. I have 2 more rounds of egg freezing. For those of you who have been following me, I do need to eat. I do need to eat something. So yeah, I have 2 more rounds of egg freezing to do. That's going to cost me about $16,000, and that all needs to come from LimeLife. I also would like to pay off all of my debt, besides maybe my car, which I'm not really worried about that much. I would like to do that. I would like to do that by my next anniversary, at most. So I have a lot of work to do, a lot of work to do. I would also really like to hit the top of this company. I'd like to quit my corporate job, and do this and do other things that are kind of on my radar. I'm already working on some things, but, I'd like to kind of do this in conjunction. I feel like it would support kind of, in a way, the other things that I have going on. For those of you who know me, I'm a huge self-care advocate, mental health advocate. And I feel like my time would be better spent being able to speak to women, and being able to help them. That's my goal. I feel like I have a lot to offer. I feel like I'm excellent at helping people get unstuck. I feel like I should be able to share my gifts a little more than I'm able to, because I don't have time. I've been given the incredible gift of having psychic ability, but I don't have time to really dig into it and explore it and really be able to help people in that way. For those of you who don't know, my grandmother actually had psychic ability. She used to read cards and palms and all that other stuff. And so did my auntie Pat. And so I feel like all of that was kind of passed down to me. I want to be able to use that stuff a little bit more, but I need to be able to focus on it, with more time. Anyway, I am going to go. Sarah, that would be awesome. I'm working on it. I need more people to run with me to the top of this thing, but once those are in here, then consider it done, girl. Let's hope it happens before year 5, okay? All right, I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate you. If you have teams you want to share this with, feel free. If you are considering or people who might need this, feel free to share it with them. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.